Retro Road Trip. Chris. Chad. Chris.
Welcome to Retro Road Trip. My name's Chris.
I'm Chad.
And we are Retro Road Trip. So what this show basically is going to be, it's going to be a podcast along with a gaming channel. And so what that entails is we're going to play games and talk about what we're playing on the podcast. So we'll go through and play, like, you know, one week we'll do a sporting thing or
Fighting games would be cool.
And then I think a special we talked about doing was a the worst video games ever made compilation, because we happen to have all of them. So what that is there'll be some games that I've never touched that Chad knows about, and I'll play them, and he'll kind of take the reins on talking, giving us not points, but history of the game, some trivia along the way, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I started playing some old school games again. I haven't touched them in years, and it was a really cool experience to remember the first times, I played some of these games and remember the console wars, and just there's a lot of video game history that's pretty interesting. I don't know it all, but I pretend to.
And I'm interested about learning some of it. I remember the console wars of like the Nintendo and PlayStation, and like the N64, and I can't remember, was it the PlayStation that countered that too? Or
yeah,
I remember
that's when it was starting to fade into the hardcore PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. But yeah, for a long time there were Jaguars, 3DOs. There were some interesting systems that are old and barely touched, but they existed.
That's awesome. I'm interested to learn about it. In this, we'll be asking help from you guys too.
Yeah, we're going to be asking you guys about what type of games that you'd like to see, specific games, give them to us, and every couple weeks we'll try to do an episode picking one from one of you all.
Yeah, so that can be a game from a very old system. You can go all the way up to, I have a PS5, I have an Xbox. If you want us to do a quick game playthrough of something like that, we'll do it. Anything, any game. Like I said, the name is Retro Road Trip, but we will talk about all aspects of gaming. If there's some big gaming news, we'll probably jump on that for a little bit on the podcast, and then go into a regular episode. We're super excited to take this journey.
Very excited. And
we hope that all of you will join us along the way. And I'm going to kick it over to Chad and let him give us a little bit of backstory about himself.
My name's Chad. I'm in my lower 40s, so that kind of puts me in a timeline where you got to see some cool stuff. Just a quick story about my kind of personality. I was on the beta trip in school in elementary, and we went to St. Louis, and there was a arcade museum that was on our itinerary that we were going to do. And it ended up getting canceled, and I was ready to go home. I was so disappointed that we didn't get to see it. They had the original Pong, and stuff like that. I was reading the little pamphlet, and that's the kind of kid I grew up as. Always fascinated by the systems. 8-bit versus 16 versus 32. Back when games were cartridges, laser disc, and there's a lot of history there, and I've always been really interested in it, and that's why I'm really excited to be on this, and hopefully entertain a little bit and teach a couple things. And like I said, I don't know everything, but I know enough that I'm hooked, and always have been ever since a little kid, and not just the bells and whistles, but the innards, what made them work, and all that. And it was just a really interesting time period. Old systems like the Dreamcast. I actually owned one of those, and that was a really cool experience. It was ahead of its time. So I'll probably talk about Dreamcast every once in a while, and Neo Geo. Those are a couple of old faves of mine. But other than that, I just enjoy playing. Every once in a while. I sure don't play like I used to. But there's nothing that'll just chill you out playing a quick game of Frogger or something, and it's kind of become a thing with me and my daughter. Frogger is one of her #1 games. She likes to play that and the Simpsons arcade game, and it's been a cool experience. And I've kind of told her about some of the old systems and showed her some of the old systems, and look what these things used to be on. Look at these. Huge disc and all that. And, it's been cool. But enough of me. I'll go and turn it over to Chris and let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Hi, my name's Chris. I am what you would call a new age gamer, so to speak. I know of everything from about the mid-90s to now. I've had every system from a Nintendo all the way up to a PlayStation 5, and I also have an Xbox Series X, I think, whatever, one of those two. I can't remember, the names are stupid, whatever. So in that, I'm a advanced gamer in that sense. Past that, I have never really played any of the retro games, like any of the retro arcade games, games that have been called the worst games ever made. I have not touched almost any of them on the list because I don't think that I never had access to them like I do now. So in that, we're going to go back, we're going to play those, you're going to get my genuine reactions on those, and hopefully they're funny. I'm also a huge wrestling enthusiast, and sometimes we might incorporate that into the show by doing a wrestling series and going through different wrestling games through the ages of wrestling. I have been on 2 successful podcasts. I've gotten to interview wrestlers. I've gotten to talk with wrestlers that I never thought I would talk with. It's a cool experience, and it's something that I kind of left behind. And now I'm going to venture into gaming and see where that takes me. Who's to say that wrestling might pop back up on my radar. But I am a huge wrestling nerd too. I collect action figures. I have autographs. I've gone to, I think, 4 AEW shows in the past 2 years. We are a big AEW household. We like Ring of Honor, AEW. We do watch WWE. There is no tribalism in this household. Watch what you want, enjoy what you want. That is my message to the wrestling community that might jump over and watch this video. One of my first memories as a kid was with my grandpa. And my grandpa, he had an old Bronco, and we would always go take rides and sneak around, and we'd get in trouble for eating chocolate in his Bronco. And I remember one time we went and we picked up Zelda on Super Nintendo, and we went and we picked it up, and we got a bunch of chocolate, and it was super hot in California, and the chocolate melted in his Bronco, and my grandma was pissed. And he got yelled at, and I got in trouble, and she told us that we weren't going to be allowed to play the video game that night. And my grandpa waited until my grandma was asleep and came and woke me up, and we played the video game all night. One of the first games I ever beat to 100% was Zelda on the Super Nintendo. So that is where my first memory of gaming lies. And I'm excited to take this journey. I'm excited to learn new things. I'm excited to see the disgusting games that I've heard that are out there, and I'm excited to gain a cool community in you guys. So now that you've met us, we are excited to meet you, and we thank you so much to the subscribers that have already subscribed. If you haven't, go over to Facebook too and find us on there, Retro Road Trip Pod. Go give the page a like. We'll be posting behind the scenes, bloopers, memes, stuff like that on there. Welcome to Retro Road
Thanks
Trip.
for checking us out, guys. Thank you.
Buckle up. It's going to be a fun one.
Let's do it.
See you guys.